All right, we'll get started here. So welcome everybody to tonight's Committee of the Whole meeting. Am I good? Oh, okay. Committee of the Whole meeting. It's Tuesday, April 21st at 6:30 p.m. Can I get a roll call?
Finkler.
Here.
Hammer.
Here.
Lawson.
Here.
Meyer is excused. Reed.
Here.
Relke.
Here.
Rostad.
Here.
I acknowledge this meeting was posted and noticed according to law.
All right, I will look for a motion to approve tonight's agenda, removing 1 and 2.
I'll move to approve tonight's agenda, removing items 1 and 2.
Second.
We had a first by Alder Rolke, a second by Alder Rostad. Man, you guys, I'm all screwed up now. Everybody's sitting in a different spot. Any discussion? All right, all approved? Any, any opposed? All right. So we're moving 1 and 2 because we have not heard back on those yet, so we cannot take any action on them or move them to council. So the third one is discussion on requests for proposals related
Molly.
to auditing.
You skipped over public comment.
Oh, I am so sorry. Public comment, is there any?
There is not.
Okay. All right, let me try that again. Discussion on, I was all thrown off. Everybody's in a different spot. And now it's really screwed me up. Okay. Discussion on requests for proposals related to auditing services. Kendra, come on up.
Hi, everyone. So in my opinion, it's best practice to go to RFP every 5 years just to make sure we're getting the best quality services for the city. I want to make sure we're getting the best pricing, the best possible quality of service. So I would really like to go to RFP for auditing services because we've had the same one for a very long time.
Alder Rostad?
Do we plan on doing multiple RFPs for services like this a year? Because I know we have legal as well. Or is this a spur of the moment?
I wouldn't say it's spur of the moment necessarily, just reviewing what contracts we have and seeing that there are some that are outdated.
I think it's trying to get these in rotation, right? And balancing it out a little bit. The fact that I think why auditing is coming up is I think there's some concerns over timeliness with our current provider, and now's the right time to do that. We're also doing legal services a little bit forced this year. My intent is to also do this next year with engineering services, just to go out and get in that habit of every 5 years of seeing what's out there and just getting those all in a rotational process. We did this for IT services 2 years ago, or a year, well.
2 years.
Has it been 2 years?
Yeah.
Okay. And so just making sure that we're set up where these aren't going to overlap and have them all in 1 year. I think it's fine to have both legal and auditing this year because of the situation we're in.
I was just curious if we wanted to double up the next one, to have 2 next year as well, to get caught back up. That was only, my main concern.
Yeah.
Any other discussion, questions? We good moving forward? All right. Next, discussion regarding quotes received for fire station door repairs. Chief?
Right. Hello, all. So is this, you got the bids in front of you. We've been kind of going one door at a time. We have a spring break here and there. Kind of expensive to bring them in for a special emergency trip to fix the springs so the doors will work again. So with what we have left, what you have in front of you is to update all the springs, and we have one opener on the back door of the fire station, so everything will be updated. So any questions on the bids?
Alder Lawson?
So, do you have any concerns with any of the bidders, or is there one that you think is preferred or anyone not qualified?
The Rod's door one, that struck me kind of funny, is he was gonna get 5 remotes. And with one of them remotes, instead of doing a push button on the station, he was gonna install the push button remote on the door. So I think the other ones are keeping with the regular controls, big controls on the door. So, and they all price different motors, and not familiar with them. And we've had Peak Doors that have done all the other doors, and they've come and done the emergency repairs when they're needed. And the Rod's Doors also said they don't do emergency repairs, just whenever they can get there. So,
Alder Rosted?
Yeah, thanks for the 3 quotes. Your budget, you only have $10,000 in there, and you're lobbying for a $9,100 fix, which is fine. I mean, I think it's justified of why you want peak. However, you've already used 30% of that budget, so now you're gonna go over, which is, again, is fine. I just wanna make sure you're comfortable going over in that line
as
item.
long as nothing else happens for the rest of the year, yeah.
And then we can make a note and adjust next budget cycle to bump building maintenance up maybe. As
Yeah,
long as you're okay, if you're okay with the 9,100 for the reasons you have already expressed, I just want council to know we're gonna go over
Right.
budget.
Right. Yeah, we'll just have to be short on a couple other things.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion? Good moving forward? All right, perfect. Next, discussion of lease agreement for the community garden.
With the sale of the Tower Drive property, we've met with representatives of the community garden and have identified a location on River Road adjacent to the butterfly garden near the wastewater treatment plant. Seems to work for all parties. Public Works will be kind of helping as possible to get them set up and moved over to the site. Happy to answer any questions anyone has, but this seemed like a good fix to the solution. It's also our hope, and I know the developer's hope on Tower Drive, to potentially relocate a community garden once construction's completed on Tower Drive. And at that time, we'd have to decide, are we gonna maintain 2? Do we go back to the Tower Drive location? I think we'll have a couple of years of data at the River Road site to determine, how to move forward best.
All right. Any questions?
The only thing I had in there was cleanup at the end of season. I know driving by there in the past, most people that have gardens clean their gardens up at the end of the year, end of the season, and that one always looks terrible, actually. So I would put that in the agreement to have cleanup at the end of the season.
Alder Lawson?
Is there a lease for the current location now?
Correct. Yes.
And have we done whatever we need to do to terminate that?
Yeah, we noticed it's the same entity, right, that we're working with. This is just an update of the existing lease.
So they're, okay.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? All right, we're good? All right, that's it. I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
All right, we got a first by Alder Rosted, a second by Alder Lawson. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned.
Okay, we will then move into our next meeting, which I'm waiting for my information to load. We can still get started on this. So welcome to tonight's regular Common Council meeting of Tuesday, April 21st. And I would look for a roll call, please.
Finkler,
Here.
Hammer,
Here.
Lawson,
Here.
Meyer is excused, Reed. Here. Relke.
Here.
Rostand.
Here.
Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I acknowledge this meeting was posted and noticed according to law.
Okay, thank you. And I would look for a motion to approve tonight's agenda with the removal of items 7 and 8. And I would also like to move item number 14 to after number 3.
I'll move to approve the agenda as stated.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Alder Finkler, second by Alder Rolke. Any discussion on that? Alder Rosted?
Nope.
Okay. All right, then hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda approved. Public comment for this? There is none? Okay. Then in front of you are the department reports for file, Community and Economic Development of March of 2026, Finance Department of January of 2026, February of 2026, and March of 2026, Library of March of 2026, and Police of March of 2026. Next would to be approve the consent agenda, which includes the public hearing, Committee of the Whole and Common Council meeting minutes from April 8th, street closing application from Columbus Chamber of Commerce for Red Bud Days on May 9th of 2026, and then a temporary Class B alcohol license for St. Jerome's monthly bingo nights, and then also mayoral appointments.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Alder Finkler, second by Alder Rolke. Any discussion? Alder Rusted?
The mayoral appointments, can we question them here, or we gotta remove it from the consent agenda? I'm just curious about the utility commission of whose term expired or doesn't want to renew.
Reagan Rules
Okay.
Position is being replaced.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
yep. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, then we will move on to item number 3 under new business, which is election of council president. So the office of council president can be held by any council member. The voting will be done by secret ballot. It is possible for someone not nominated to be elected to that position. Nominations for council president do not need a second. So at this time, I will look for nominations for council president. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So nominations for council president, Alder Rosted,
I'll nominate Molly Finkler.
Alder, okay. Okay. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Third and last time, any nominations? Then hearing none, we will go to ballot. And so, place your ballot. Because it's possible for somebody not nominated.
Vote for Molly Finkler. 2 votes for Molly Finkler. 3 votes for Molly Finkler. 4 votes for Molly Finkler. Should have my mic on. And 5 votes for Molly Finkler, unanimous.
Okay. Thank you. Welcome, re-elected council president. Then next, we will move on to item number 14, which is in place after number 3, which is to consider and take action regarding the development agreement between the city and Lamps Landing LLC for parcel 11, or is it 114.1? So, look for a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion by Alder Rosted, second by Alder Roki. Any discussion on this item? Anything, Mike, do you have anything to add?
I'll just say, the proposal and the development agreement reflect what was in the RFQ. And the cap on the TIF assistance is at $360,000. So that payment only gets paid if the development happens. So that protects the city.
Okay. Alder Rosted?
Couple of things. So I had a conversation with Matt, and I just want to make sure I understand this. So can the city enforce the 55 and older? Do we have a way to enforce that?
It's a little, I would say it's a little bit of a gray area. It is we do have some language in the development agreement to request information. Is it a strong lever of enforcement? I would say no, but there is some language in the development agreement. I'd have to look through to find what page it's on, but there's some language in there.
I guess my only question would be is the developer has 40 units of his 45 already signed lease agreements. He has somewhat of a demographic. He knows what's might lease the new building. And if it's a concern of his and we can't enforce it and there's nothing tied to it as a penalty, can we take it out? Or
just so you know, just in the agreement, that language is regarding the over 55 housing. It's that 80% of the units have someone that's 50, at least one person that's 55 and older. So it's not a strict 55 and older requirement.
okay. And is there any penalty to it, to the TIF payout?
That language is currently not
Okay.
in the agreement.
Any other, Alder Finkler?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I would like to keep it with the language that's in there right now. We did go and listen to citizens and did some reviews on this and assessments. And with, I would like to see data to remove it, but I think that we want to keep it where it's at right now because that was the plan all along from the beginning of what council had wanted here. And then also, we're a pretty desirable city, but we still need to make sure that we're taking care of those that want to leave their houses and be able to go into apartment living, and then that frees up houses for younger folks to come in. So I think it doesn't hurt for us to try and hit all demographics.
For the record, it is on page 107 of the packet, that language, so. Alder Lawson?
Just so I understand, when it says 4 twin home buildings, is that 8 units?
Yes.
Okay.
And Alder Reed?
Oh, thank you. I guess I could have turned my light off, but I also wanted to leave the language for the 55 and over, and even though it's likely not binding, I want to have the understanding.
Any other discussion on this? All right, then hearing none, all in favor of approving?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion approved. Sure. Well, come up to the,
Thanks for approving it. I will say
there, it's on.
Oh, it's on, okay.
Yeah, you got it.
Thanks
for
for
you.
approving it. I will say one thing with the new building, I was actually shocked. I don't have one citizen from Columbus that's selling a house and moving into my apartment building. So, I mean, that is a little bit of a concern because I really thought we had a lot of those type of citizens here that really want to move into a nice apartment building and sell their house. Now, I have had some people from out of the area that are selling their houses and moving here. But I mean, it's very low amount of Columbus people of the 40 that I have that are actually Columbus people. So, food for thought. I mean, it's, you know, maybe like Mike and I chatted and Matt, maybe if it's called a senior building, maybe more seniors will gravitate toward that. But it's been a lot of 20s, 30s, and 40s. That's the age group. And a few, I guess some people in their 80s too, which is kind of funny, you know. But I think I counted today, I have 7 people that are over 55 of the 40. So 3%, I mean, pretty low.
Yeah. Right.
But I always say, I mean, 55 is not old because I'm pushing that. So.
It's all point of view. Right, thank you. Okay, then next we would move on to the item number 5, which is to consider and take action on the request for proposals related to the legal services.
Joe, before we go to 5, I think it's pretty important we hit number 4.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So you got myself out of whack now. Sorry about that. Yes, item number 4. Consider and take action on Resolution 10-26, and that's a resolution ratifying the resolutions of last meeting of 0826 and 0926, approving the bond sales that were adopted on April 8th of 2026.
Motion to approve resolution 10-26.
Second.
Okay, motion by Alder Rosted, second by Alder Finkler. Any discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, resolution approved. Thank you for the catch. Okay, and then next is to consider and take action on requests for proposals related to legal services, which was initially presented at the April 8th COW. So,
I'll move to approve the RFP for legal services.
I'll second.
okay, motion by Alder Finkler, second by Alder Wilkie. Any discussion? Alder Rosted.
I may have overlooked it, but did we change some language for the request that we had?
Yeah, that change was put in to give that flexibility
Okay.
to allow for a separate proposal for prosecution services.
Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion on this? Hearing none, then all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. RFP approved. Then we will move on to item number 6, which is to consider and take action on the preliminary assessments for the 2026 West School Street reconstruction project.
Move to approve the preliminary assessments for the 2026 West School Street reconstruction project.
Second?
Okay, motion by Alder Wilkie, second by Alder Rosted. Any further discussion on this item? Alder Rosted, you have some?
Yep. So I want to address the last concern I brought up because I completely misunderstood the constituents' request. I did meet with them. It's on 411 Hibbert Street, and the request wasn't about a lower payment or term of payment. The request was when Hibbert Street got done, the section on his, well, what I would call the north side of his property, never had a sidewalk. It stopped at the neighbors. From what I understood, either Jason talked to him or someone at that point, and he says it's kind of silly not to complete the section of sidewalk because they're going to either walk through my yard or they'll dart out to the street and continue through. His request, and I misunderstood it, so the city paid for that. That was the agreement. He says, you can put a sidewalk in, but I'm not going to pay for it. So that was the agreement. Rehowever, city ordinance is a 5-foot sidewalk, and the city put in a 4-foot sidewalk. So now it's going to have to come out and then report back in on the new project. Does he have to pay for that? And if he does he get the credit because the city paid for it the first install?
6 years ago. I believe that was put in as a 4-foot because it was connecting a 4-foot into the sidewalk. There was a gap there. 4-foot sidewalk isn't necessarily non-ADA compliant. I think at the time it served the purpose of making the connection with the understanding that West School Street was coming down the road and that there would be a replacement of that sidewalk at a later date. So right now he is being assessed for 50% of the cost for replacement of the sidewalk that is there. So he was not originally assessed for it, but now he's being assessed as if it wasn't there. So that's how we drew up the assessment today. So I guess the idea here is that I think we're sticking with the ordinance of replacing it as a 5-foot sidewalk. We are using the policy to assess him for 50% of the sidewalk, which he didn't originally pay for. I think if he would have originally paid for it, it'd probably be a different discussion today. So I guess that's why it's in the assessment drawn up the way I drew it up. Does that make sense?
Yep.
It does, however, the new credit policy, 5 to 6, there's a 60% credit. Who gets that credit? Or are we just gonna wash it?
Well, the credit policy is based off the fact that somebody did a project prior to and paid entirely for that. So we're giving them credit back or a refund towards the cost that they paid. He didn't pay anything for it.
Okay.
Okay, then, thanks. Good explanation. Any further discussion on this?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Just on the credit policy, so I guess I would just like,
What page are you on, if you
I
could?
got page 70. So six, I guess section 6, basically 6.1 and 6.2. So what's the reason for 1/3 of the life is where the cutoff is on the credit? On 2 of the items, I get the concrete apron and the sidewalk crossing is shorter due to heavier traffic, but
It is subjective. I think it's up for discussion. 10 years generally is even though concrete has what we call a lifespan, of up to more than that. 10 years, you can start to see spalling, chipping, cracking, settling. There's a lot of things that can happen. And so at that point, I think you have to cut it off somewhere, right? Like you can't prorate the credit for the entire 30 years. And so we've always kind of just earmarked that. And again, you guys kind of told me, bring forward what you've done in the past. And we've kind of said 10 years, right? Like who's got a receipt? Who remembers how it was put in? Are there permits at Public Works verifying it was inspected? So once you get beyond 10 years, we have to depend on the record keeping, on Public Works. We have to depend on a lot of stuff. And so, this, does anybody remember it, at the city, we're employees here, we're staff here, that type of thing. And so for me, 10 years just seemed to be like what my rule of thumb has always been to say, let's just, at some point, I think we got to cut it off because then we get into arguments, right? Like we get people standing up here saying, well, mine's 12 years old, why can't we go to 12 years? And well, we could, but, I think at some point we got to just draw a line. So we picked 10 years as a reasonable cut off to say, if it's done within the past 10 years, we can assume it's still pretty good, but there's obviously it's aging, there's going to be potential issues with it. We don't necessarily have all the records to it. And if we can find somebody who's got records of it that's 10 years old, then I think we can consider it up to a point. So again, subjectivity a little bit here, but it's kind of rule of thumb of the way I've kind of played it before.
perfect. Thank you. Thanks for your explanation.
Anything further? Okay, then all in favor of approving?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Then we move on to item number 9, which is to consider and take action on the job description and compensation for Public Works Utilities Director, and this was presented to the Utility Commission on April 16th and forwarded to this body. So.
I'll move to approve the job description and compensation for the Public Works Utility Director and with flexibility in the title at a later date. That is the same motion that was made at Utility Commission, so I'm just carrying that forward. So nothing needs to come back to us if the working title changes.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion by Alder Finkler, second by Alder Rosted. Any discussion on this item further? Alder Lawson?
So with this combination, do we ever address the concern that the utility commission has some oversight of that position?
Coming up at the workshop later this evening, we're going to have a discussion about committee structure to get some direction on bringing something back to you in the future that may or may not address that concern.
May or may not address that concern. My problem with this isn't the person and the job that he's already doing. It's that oversight piece that doesn't make sense now, and adding this other responsibility makes even less sense.
Alder Rosted?
This is just a promotion within, correct? We're not posting this like
It's
the next
additional
one.
job duties and responsibilities for the
Added.
existing utilities director.
Correct.
Any further discussion on this? In clarification with what has been talked about, and then with your concerns, is that it would have to be brought to Utility Commission also to see if they're comfortable with the additional oversight on that committee. But it's still a means of, it's a process that's working. Yeah,
If I could.
sure.
Essentially, the utilities director reports to the city administrator. The city administrator reports to the council. That's your oversight. What committee Public Works goes to, I think, is a valid discussion for the council to have and figure out, does that make sense to go to the utility commission? Does it stay currently with the council, which is where all Public Works items go? But ultimately, there is a reporting and hierarchy structure that provides that oversight currently, whether it is a split duties position or a combined duty position, from my perspective.
Alder Lawson.
So the utility commission doesn't have hire or fire authority over that position?
That was changed earlier in 2025 by this
We
council
did change
in our committee structure ordinance.
They make the recommendation for hire,
Yeah, that's.
so. Yeah. Or the other two, for that matter. So, okay. Any further discussion on this? Then all in favor of accepting this?
Should be a roll
Do
call.
we
with-
need a roll call because it's compensation
Oh,
too?
true, right, compensation, too. Yep, roll call. Thank you.
Rostad,
Aye.
Finkler,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
Relke,
Aye.
Lawson.
Aye.
Ayes have it, 5-0.
Okay, then next on the agenda is consider and take action on the creation of a utilities assistant director and approval of the job description and authorization to begin the recruitment process.
I'll make a motion to create the position for utilities assistant director and the authorization to start the recruitment process with a correction to the job description of a Class A to a Class B CDL. And the flexibility of the title.
Second.
Okay, motion by Alder Rosted, second by Alder Finkler. Any further discussion on this item? Alder Lawson.
Just one question, so totally makes sense. With the combination of the positions and having this as an assistant, it looks like they would also potentially work in all 4 divisions. Is there a need to have an additional position in Public Works since we kind of are removing at least part of one?
The intent is to create a DPW utility lead, which would mirror the structure of the 3 divisions of the utility. And that'll be coming to you the first meeting in May.
Okay.
Alder Rossted?
I just want to make sure either Matt or Randy, the Class B is sufficient. We don't need a A?
Correct.
Thank you.
Can I get clarification on your motion, Ryan? With the correction of Class A to Class B?
B.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. We caught up? All right. Any other discussion on this? Seeing none, I would look for a roll call on this also.
Reed? Aye. Lawson?
Aye.
Finkler?
Aye.
Relke?
Aye.
Rostad?
Aye.
Ayes have it, 5-0.
Okay, thank you. Next would be to consider and take action on the request for proposals related to the auditing services, which was presented by Kendra earlier.
Motion to approve the RFP for auditing services.
Second.
Okay, motion by Alder Rosted, second by Alder Reed. Any further discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next would be to consider and take action on the award of quote to Peak Garage Doors for Fire Department Apparatus Bay Door Opener and Springs Replacement in the amount not to exceed $9,115.
Motion to approve the Peak Garage Door quote for fire department not to exceed $9,115.
Second.
Okay, motion by Alder Rosted, second by Alder Roki. Further discussion on this item? Hearing none, roll call.
Lawson?
Aye.
Rostad?
Aye.
Finkler?
Aye.
Relke?
Aye.
Reed?
Aye.
Ayes have it, 5-0.
Okay, thank you. Next would be to consider and take action on the lease agreement for community gardens. Like I said, the only thing that I have that this needs to be cleaned up at the end of the season.
I'll move to approve the lease agreement for the community gardens with the addition of cleanup at the end of the season.
Reed seconds.
Okay, motion by Alder Finkler, second by Alder Reed. Any further discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Then next would be to consider and take actions on the claims in the amount of $479,249.97.
I'll move to pay the claims.
Second.
Okay, motion by Alder Roki, second by Alder Lawson. Any discussion on the claims? Hearing none, roll call.
Relke?
Aye.
Lawson?
Aye.
Rostad?
Aye.
Finkler?
Aye.
Reed?
Aye.
Ayes have it, 5-0.
Okay, reports.
Just want to highlight, as everyone's aware, last week we had some significant storm damage in the community. Want to thank Utilities Director Randy Myram and his staff, the staff of Public Works and Utilities for their work in assisting in the cleanup. I think, there were, if I quote the number right, 27 homes impacted by loss of electrical service. Crews worked efficiently with help and support from neighboring communities. I know Juneau was here. There may have been others as well. I think the response was tremendous and efficient. Subsequently, we had a lot of trees down in the community, and I know a lot of residents pitched in and helped clean up. We had damage throughout the park, in Fireman's Park as well. The pavilion was damaged. There's both damage to the roof, a lot of missing shingles, as well as the chimney was significantly compromised in the storm event. So the city's been working on tracking all the damages and working through insurance and all that process. But again, I just want to highlight the response of our staff and thank the staff publicly for their work in responding to that storm event. That's all I have.
Okay, well, pretty much the same items that I have, besides utilities and DPW, but our police and our fire department as well, because that's, usually fire department gets there to block everything off to keep people away from crossing over power lines and just being keeping the public away from where they shouldn't be. So many thanks to everybody involved for their hard work. So with that, I would look for a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Wow.
We still need a second.
I wanted to make a comment on the city officers, but now we can't.
I'm glad I bring so much joy to adjournments.
I'll second, but I got discussion.
Okay, so motion by Alder Wilkie, second by Alder Rosted. Discussion.
Did we cancel Saturday's drug take back? No, you didn't want to pitch it?
Sure, we can, there should be a reminder going out as well.
Okay, I didn't know, I just knew it was coming up.
9 to 11 front of the PD drive-up service. We'll be there.
All right, drug take back on Saturday,
Yep.
9 to 11.
Flyers all over town as much as we can, at the clinics, community center, David's on Facebook posts, so.
Okay, good. All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We stand adjourned from this meeting.